What the heck was wrong with this man? Why did he keep sucking on those things? He completely addicted into this. He spent his last monies to keep sucking on the smoke, and he complained on top of it. A lot of health problems. I realized that it was small price I had paid, caused the poison in the air. If this thing would protect me from that, then that's nothing. He wasn't such a strong man either. Not a fighter. The most he pried out of his pocket was the money for a pack of smokes and a lighter. That made him contently unhappy. He sprang at my thought process, and no boy the man had some spring, but not in his step either. He drank a swig of water from a 2-liter. The bottle was yellow. You're quite an odd fellow. The man be saying until that too. Pass into the past. Pass into the past. The lyrics, when they gone, they will never last. He kept repeating that, almost like I was not even there. The manuscript hadn't passed the editorial department. He was about to burn it. I made sure he didn't. Burning all of this, the past behind. I see you miss. Target once more shooting grounds. A machine gun you need otherwise. The war zones and empty shells we flew across making rounds. It was his past, of course it was. He seemed to have tried to shoot the past behind him many times before, running after mirages in the future, chasing them like butterflies with a net. He yanked first time, trying to disconnect himself out of the net. Not happening. Had been glued in place, unable to turn his gaze away. He kept sucking. Your luck is out running, and the bullets hit the mud, like an apple from the tree you're about to pluck. Cause only this smoke I think, my life, oh my life, how it sucks. I should wash these carpets down the sink. I was left on the ocean rocks. It was no Shakespeare, but when he went on his tirades, I had to give him that. Something in him was trying to rise to the surface, like the ocean we were looking at, plastic trash bags filling the waters and stucking in whales' stomachs. He had been accused of much, reassuring in his mind that he did not do such things. Managed to pass the interrogation, passing it through, flying colors. It didn't add anything on top of his life. Unlike college, nothing did it add on top. So what did you study then? You seem to have a knack for this, I asked him. I was in the master's teaching, helped me round out the blocks. He say, pointing out a rule he was half following of rules. Didn't exist back in the days. More simple days, they were. Focused and clean, you could even drink that. This one had to be purified by those turbines, he shouted, because of the noise. He swung his water flags towards the aircraft carrier. The pieces falling into place. Those evil bastards who took themselves to belong in the master race. The games they played and the playground, whole planets, and again the fighter jets made more rounds. Flying in circles, they made more rounds. They teach us to fly, these monuments of destruction. What used to move now frozen in place, unable to take a step past this point. He looked me with a pained expression on his face. We were in a pinch, that much was for sure. Finally his spring would be put into use. He leaped across the ocean to the deck of the aircraft carrier, leaving a dent in the wooden planks of the deck. Pressing some buttons, now missiles with scorching trails passed and fly through the sky. Calculation between 2 points came later. If the target was called a miss, another warhead would follow. A theater. It wasn't the exact right word for what was about to ensue. I was glad I could still imagine what would call this too. Like a shuffling, a deck of cards. I thought about those that would be receiving these missiles. Maybe on their front porch, doorstep. Then a silence ensued. Everyone was looking at each other like kids who had stolen from a candy store and wondering if they could be caught. A gigantic face of the wise one shined through the clouds. A ray of light burned away the butt of his suckling device and burned ash out of its both ends on the deck of the ship. There it left smears under the shoe. The whole event would be forgotten. Those smears on the deck of the ship, though? Well, now you're welcome to step into my modern art museum. The plank was placed here and his suckling device on their other side. The big window shone in the light for these remnants of the long forgotten past. As the kids ran across the museum floors, they couldn't connect with the story in any way. Their past and what they would share with each other. That's another story. A story that I could never write. That's why we write. To share a window into the past we didn't share. A past we can learn something towards the future that only one of you seems to care. That was true. There was only one kid there who seemed interested in any of what was being showed here, the Modern Art Museum. That kid happened to grow into a novelist. Why? You asking me? He asked. Yeah, why are you still sucking on that? I asked. That's for the future generations to figure out. He laughed it off. We walked out of the museum and I tried to tell him how great it was that one of his pieces he created was in there. Oh, that wasn't me who did it, he said. Who then? I was sure that it read his name on it. The placate, next to the smear of ash, the piece in the museum. The factory. I just happened to be, well, in there, right place, the right time, he said, laughing it off. Like those ready-mades? I asked him. Exactly. He went for his pocket for another suckling device. Just like those ready-mades, he said as we walked towards the subway system escalators. Subway system escalators. Down, down, down. Read it down by True Detective. The end.